Hi, this is Nic Natarella with AdWise Creative. Yeah, sitting here can be pretty intimidating. How do you overcome your fear of the camera? You know, back in the day, it was called stage fright. But now here we are in the 21st century, and everybody needs to have a YouTube channel, and everybody's afraid to appear on camera. But you have something really important to say. Don't let the fear of the camera hold you back. There are many things you can do to overcome your fear of the camera and start producing content like a pro. Let's dive in. So in this video, we're going to cover a couple different things. Number one, you're not really afraid of the camera, are you? So what is it really? What can you do to overcome that fear? Well, there's some mindset shifts and some exercises you can do, and some specific techniques to help you. It's a no-brainer, quite frankly. Chances are they're afraid of the camera, unless you've taken like years of training or something like that. 35 years ago, I was an acting major. Okay? Being in front of the camera does not intimidate me at all. But not many people have been on stage. You know, the biggest dream that most people have is A, fear of falling, but B, being naked in front of an audience. And wasn't that one of the big things that you were supposed to do when you were public speaking, is to picture your audience naked? Remember that one? That one's been floating around for years and years and years. Here's a little mind shift to take before you sit down in front of the camera. First, right now, you look around. Who's with you? Nobody. Chances are you're watching this video by yourself. Well, guess what? When anybody sits down to watch your video, they're watching by themselves as well. It's not a huge audience. You're not talking to millions upon millions of people. Maybe eventually you will have spoken to millions of people. But when people are sitting down and being an audience, they're being an audience of one. So, if you can turn that little black dot, that little circle, into just one person, like I'm talking to you right now, that's half the battle. Because let me guess, how many one-on-one conversations have you had today already? Probably dozens. If you're talking with your employees, your coworkers, your customers or clients, you do that all the time. You're on the phone, you're there in your office. That's the way to treat the camera. Start with just one person. When I was on the radio, I absolutely died the first few months. Here's another hint. You can tell if somebody on a podcast knows what they're doing, or a YouTube channel, when they say, "Good morning, everybody." It's not the way to do it. You're communicating one-on-one. And if you can talk to somebody as an individual, that makes a connection and a bond with your audience like no other. So like I asked earlier, I'm not afraid of the camera. It's what's behind the camera, what you think is behind the camera. And yeah, okay, so now we whittled your audience down from 1 million down to 1. But who's that 1? I don't know. I have no clue. Are they judging you? Are they saying, well, I could have done that better? You don't know what you're talking about? All this fear and doubt, and do I really know what I'm talking about here? Is there anything that I can, is somebody going to call me out on it? Am I wrong? Could I possibly be wrong? All of a sudden, all this stuff starts to flow out of you. And what is that? That all adds up to what a lot of people call imposter syndrome, okay? Feeling like I'm not worthy enough to be here, but yet I'm here, right? Well, I better look good. Let me tell you something about imposter syndrome. You know who doesn't get imposter syndrome? Imposters. The ones who are faking it and trying to make it, but know they shouldn't be there. They don't get imposter syndrome. So, unfortunately, imposter syndrome's a good thing. That means you're on the right track. Welcome to the party. You deserve to be here. There's the fear of judgment or rejection, right? You hit record, and before it's even edited and put on YouTube, your hands are sweaty, your heart starts pounding, start to get flush. It's not a fun place to be in. You're breathing, you're way up here, and you're not breathing the way you should be breathing. Been there, done that. In fact, a couple hours ago when I started recording, okay, it all kicks in for all of us. But once you finally realize that that little circle is just one person, it really, really, really helps. Speaking of which, Is this resonating with you? Am I making it worse or am I making it better? Okay, let me know in the comments below. I want to know. If I have to redo this, I will, but I'm not going to know unless you say something. So, and I do read all the comments. Now, what can you possibly do to get over this? A couple of things you've probably already heard all your life. First of all, practice, practice, practice. Just practice. What do you practice? You practice talking. Just talk. That's what the big thing is. Now, I will tell you, you will probably have to practice locking your eyes on the lens. If that thing is not giving you any kind of reaction back, it's very easy to all of a sudden have your eyes wander and you start to do other things looking for something to say. Don't look for something to say. This is the stuff that you already know to say, so just look right at the camera who is going to be that one person on the other side. Realistically speaking, look, it's not going to be perfect the first time. Don't worry about that. It's okay. I hope you take this as motivation and positive. Nobody's watching. Not in the beginning. The first several, dozen, hundreds episodes, nobody's going to even see it. I hope that doesn't sound too defeating. But honestly, now's your time to make your mistakes. Go ahead and do that. Screw up, stutter, go, whatever the mistake is, guess what? You can edit it out. Nobody's going to see it anyway, but just get it out of your system so you know that you're going to edit it out later. Where do you get grounded? How do you possibly, feel grounded before you even start? It's in your own material. Think about your message. What are you going to say? What are you focusing on in this particular episode? This is all the stuff that you know. This is all the stuff that we're coming to you for. This is the question that I typed into YouTube and you popped up, so I want to hear what you're saying. Guess what? 99% of your audience is like this. They want to know what you have to say. It's okay. All right? So just be confident and grounded in what you are going to say. Start there. Plant your feet there. For example, there was one time when I was scuba diving. I was just learning how to scuba dive, and my problem was I was still a little scared. I'd be down there and still be a little scared, and in my breathing, I was breathing from the top of my lungs instead of a regular. I was like, it was way up here. I wasn't hyperventilating or anything like that. I wasn't in danger. I just wasn't breathing naturally. Well, a friend of mine and I went out and we were going to look for this one particular, it was a sunken plane. It was a plane that they had stripped and sank, and it was becoming an artificial reef. We were going to find this plane. Well, the visibility was about 5 feet, and my dive partner had on bright yellow. And after 5 feet, I couldn't even see him because the water was so murky and so thick. So we devised a way with ropes to do a circle, to do a circle, to do a circle, okay? And the way we knew we were in the circle is because I was in the middle and I was watching my compass. And when he came back around to 0 on the compass, I'd tug and we'd move on. Go around to 0, I'd tug and we'd move on. I was so focused on my compass, I'd forgotten all about my breathing. And I started breathing naturally and normally. And with the old style of breathing, a tank should last you about 45 minutes. Well, depending on how deep you are. A tank should last you about 45 minutes. I was burning through it in 25 minutes. Now, all of a sudden, I started getting involved in this activity, and I had more oxygen than he did at the end of the dive because I had forgotten all about it. I focused on what I was supposed to do, and all that distraction went away. That's where you stand on your own information. That's where you know you already live. And of course, one of the typical ones is take deep breaths. Slow down. And again, my scuba problem was breathing way up in the top of my chest. When you force yourself to breathe from your abdomen, to breathe from your diaphragm, that's when you can actually calm down a little bit, get some oxygen into your system, get your internal organs to drop back to where they should be, and it's not so difficult to breathe and actually do and say what you need to do and say. And remember, talk to a friend, talk to one person, talk to a family member. When I first started on the radio, I had a picture, literally a picture, and I set that picture on the console. And as I was doing my breaks, I would sit there and talk to this person while I'm sitting here running everything else and doing what I needed to do. But I made eye contact with that picture. I was talking to one person the entire time. So now that you feel confident in front of the camera, I know you're going to be cranking out a lot of videos, right? Right? All right. So I have a special free offer for you. there is a video that I've created called Slice and Dice. How do you take a giant piece of content and not only turn it into smaller chunks, but also how do you turn it into little tiny promotional stuff? Okay? That will keep you sustained and you won't be freaking out about so much content that you have to create. You created one, and that's all you need to use. So click the link down below in the description, not in the comments, it's down in the description. Click on that and go watch that Slice and Dice video. Thanks for watching. I'm Nic Natarella with AdWise Creative.